Good reasons to change gender, an explainer. Hey everybody, your name here. So, gender is complex. It's something many of us think about, and for some people it's something they feel doesn't align with who they are on the inside. That's what we're diving into today. We're going to talk about changing gender, why it matters, and the good reasons people choose to do it. This isn't about being nosy or pushing an agenda, it's about understanding. We're going to break down some complex topics into smaller, digestible parts. Think of it like this. We're all on the same planet trying to figure things out. The more we understand each other's experiences, the better we can support one another. This isn't just about facts and figures, it's about people's lives. So, let's approach this with open minds and open hearts, yeah? Okay, let's get started. Chapter 1. Personal Fulfillment. For a long time I felt like something was off, like I was looking at myself but it wasn't truly me. It was like wearing a costume that didn't fit. I felt trapped, my insides and outsides didn't match. That disconnect takes a toll. It impacts how you interact with the world. It's exhausting. Then I learned about gender identity. Suddenly things made sense. I realized it's okay to not fit neatly into the box I was assigned at birth. Deciding to transition wasn't easy. It was a big, scary decision. But ultimately, it was about choosing me. Choosing happiness and authenticity. It was the best decision I ever made. Chapter 2. Mental Health. When we talk about changing gender, we have to talk about mental health. For many it's crucial to their well-being. Imagine feeling like you're living in the wrong body. This disconnect can lead to anxiety, depression, even thoughts of suicide. It's called gender dysphoria, and it's real. Living authentically can improve mental health dramatically. It's like a weight has been lifted. They can finally be themselves, and that's powerful. It's about survival, not vanity. Everyone deserves to live full, happy, and healthy lives, to wake up and feel comfortable in their own skin. That's what changing gender can do. It's not a magic solution, but it's a step towards healing and happiness. Chapter 3. Social Acceptance. You know, we all crave acceptance. It's a basic human need. And for transgender people, being accepted for who they truly are can be an uphill battle. Imagine being constantly misgendered, having people refuse to use your correct pronouns. It can be hurtful, invalidating, and isolating. Changing gender isn't just about physical changes. It's about being seen by the world for who you truly are. It's about having your identity affirmed and respected. When society accepts transgender individuals, it sends a powerful message that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their gender identity. And that acceptance, it can be life-changing. It can mean the difference between feeling invisible and feeling seen, between feeling alone and feeling loved and supported. We all have a role to play in creating a more accepting and inclusive society for transgender people, because when someone feels safe to be themselves, everyone benefits. Chapter 4. Legal Recognition. Okay, let's talk about legal recognition. This is another big reason why changing gender matters, because without it, everyday life can become incredibly difficult. Think about it, your driver's license, your passport, your medical records. They all have your gender on them. And when those documents don't match your true gender identity, it can create a whole host of problems. It can lead to discrimination in employment, housing, and healthcare. It can also make it challenging to travel, open a bank account, or even vote. Can you imagine having to explain your gender identity every time you show your ID? It's exhausting and dehumanizing. Legal recognition is about more than just changing a name or gender marker on a piece of paper. It's about ensuring that transgender people have equal access to the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. It's about removing barriers and creating a more just and equitable society for all. Chapter 5. Medical Necessity. For some people, changing gender isn't just about living authentically, it's also about their health. We're talking about medical transition, which can include hormone therapy or gender-affirming surgeries. Now, it's important to understand that not everyone who identifies as transgender chooses to undergo medical transition. It's a deeply personal decision. But for some, it's essential for alleviating the distress caused by gender dysphoria. Hormone therapy, for example, can help people align their physical characteristics with their gender identity. This can have a profound impact on their mental health and overall well-being. Similarly, gender-affirming surgeries can help people feel more comfortable in their own bodies. It's important to remember that medical transition is a complex process that requires careful consideration and access to qualified healthcare professionals. Chapter 6. Improved relationships. Relationships are at the heart of what it means to be human, right? We all crave connection, love, and support. For transgender people, changing gender can have a profound impact on their relationships with others. Imagine finally being able to show up as your true self in your relationships, without fear of judgment or rejection. It can be incredibly liberating. When we are free to be ourselves, we can build stronger, more authentic connections with the people around us. Our loved ones can get to know us for who we truly are, and that deepens those bonds. Of course, not all relationships survive the journey of gender transition. Some people may struggle to understand or accept these changes, but for many, changing gender can lead to more honest, fulfilling, and loving relationships with partners, family, and friends. Chapter 7. Workplace equality. Everyone deserves to feel safe and respected at work, right? But for transgender people, the workplace can be a minefield of discrimination and prejudice. Transgender individuals often face higher rates of unemployment, underemployment, and wage gaps. They may be denied promotions or even fired simply for being who they are. Changing gender can sometimes help level the playing field. By aligning their gender presentation with their true identity, transgender people may experience less discrimination in the workplace. They may be more likely to be hired, promoted, and paid fairly. This doesn't mean that discrimination magically disappears, but it can make a significant difference. Creating a more inclusive and equitable workplace for transgender people isn't just the right thing to do, it's also good for business. When people feel valued and respected for who they are, they're more likely to be engaged, productive, and successful. Chapter 8. Personal safety. Okay, this is a tough one to talk about, but it's important. For some transgender people, changing gender isn't just about self-expression or societal acceptance, it's about survival. Transgender individuals, especially transgender women of color, face disproportionately high rates of violence and harassment. Simply existing as their true selves can be dangerous. Changing gender, whether through social transition or medical transition, can sometimes reduce the risk of violence. By aligning their physical appearance with their gender identity, transgender people may be less likely to be targeted for hate crimes or discrimination. It's a sad reality, but for some, changing gender can be a matter of personal safety. It's heartbreaking that anyone should have to fear for their safety simply because of who they are. We need to create a world where everyone feels safe and respected, regardless of their gender identity. Chapter 9. Community support. Changing gender can be a daunting journey, but no one has to go through it alone. One of the most beautiful things about the transgender community is the incredible network of support that exists. There are so many resources available to help people navigate the challenges and celebrate the joys of gender transition. Support groups, online forums, and LGBTQ+ community centers provide safe spaces for transgender individuals to connect with one another, share their experiences, and find understanding. Having a community can make all the difference. It can provide a sense of belonging, validation, and hope. It's a reminder that you are not alone, that there are others who have walked this path before you, and that there are people who care. This support can be life-saving, especially during difficult times. It's a testament to the resilience and strength of the transgender community. Chapter 10. Self-expression. At its core, changing gender is often an act of radical self-expression. It's about breaking free from societal expectations and embracing your authentic self, even if it doesn't fit neatly into the boxes the world tries to put you in. It's about expressing your true identity through your name, your pronouns, your clothing, your appearance, and your way of being in the world. Gender is a spectrum, and how we choose to express it is deeply personal. For some, it might mean embracing a more androgynous presentation. For others, it might mean fully transitioning to align with their gender identity. There's no right or wrong way to express your gender. What matters is that you feel free to be yourself without fear of judgment or reprisal. Because when we are free to express ourselves authentically, we bring more joy, creativity, and beauty into the world. Outro, thanks for listening. So, that was a lot, right? Gender identity is complex, and it's okay if you don't understand everything perfectly. The important thing is that we're having these conversations, that we're trying to learn from each other, and that we're creating space for empathy and understanding. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this. Transgender people are just like everyone else. They want to be happy, healthy, and loved for who they are. And when we create a world where that's possible, we all benefit. Thanks for watching, and DFTBA.